Oh my god. Oh, why do I become awkward whenever the camera turns on? I don't know why I'm like this. Okay. I should do the clapping thing that I do at the beginning of my videos, or that I used to do like 6 years ago. Here we go. This is so dumb. Okay, ready? Well, I guess I'm a lot more cheerful now than I was 6 years ago. It's because I'm not depressed. It's because I'm not in college. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to you and also to me. I've returned to this YouTube channel. It's been a long time. I had a brief reappearance 2 years ago, but pretty much most of my content was made like when I was in college, like 7 years ago. So it's been a long time. I've aged. Did you notice? I've aged. I've gained weight. I've gained several tattoos since those videos were made. My hair's a little bit longer, but there's less of it. I'm just filming this as like one continuous video, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out. Also, it's like it's like past 1 in the morning. What time is it? It's almost 2 a.m. So I have no idea if I'm disturbing my neighbors, but I guess if they're having a problem with me, they can just bang on the wall. It's fine. I always play videos when I'm in my house anyway. I don't know if my voice is much louder. It probably is. Okay, so the reason why I've gathered you all here today is because I am launching a Webtoon. Wow! Okay, so this Webtoon, I've actually launched it before. It's a story that I've had kind of knocking around since my college days. I submitted it for the Creators for Creators grant before I came to Korea, and I did not get it because it was not very good, frankly. So I decided to launch it myself, and in 2021, the same year that I released that video, the last video, 2 years ago. What year was 2 years ago? 2022. Is the sound of the fish annoying you? I'm sorry, I'm really bad. I'm really awkward on camera. You're seeing this happening in real time. Okay, so during 2020, I had to take 3 weeks off from work. I was working at a kindergarten at that time. They were a little bit abusive, but I was working at this kindergarten. We took 3 weeks off from work. I realized I was burned out because I wanted to die. No, I realized I was burned out because I enjoyed that time of not interacting with other people and staying inside at home for 3 weeks and, like, you know, having very few social interactions thanks to the pandemic. And instead of, you know, working, I created my entry for the Webtoon competition that was happening at that time. And I made a short Webtoon called I Don't Know You. I really enjoyed the process. I went through the whole thing of, you know, creating it and uploading it up onto Webtoon and entering it into the Webtoon competition. And I realized that that made me really happy, and that's what I want to do with my life. Even though I'd been preparing my, you know, long form Webtoon for a while, I just couldn't find the motivation and the energy to do it. And so I made it in 2022 when I took a gap year from working. I decided that, like, well, my student loans are on hold, and, you know, I can't do anything during this pandemic. I can't travel, which is what I wanted to do. So fuck it, I will just take a year off from work. I will get a job seeker's visa and just take 6 months to just be in my house and draw. And that's what I did. So I drew 10 episodes of Buffer for a Webtoon called With What I Have, and I started uploading it onto Webtoon. And then I started taking classes for Korean at the university and promptly ran out of time, energy, immediately burned out again. And so I paused uploading that Webtoon. During that time, while I was being a student, I met a lot of people. I showed them my Webtoon, and sometimes they couldn't really understand what was going on. I even met somebody who was a Webtoon producer in Korea, and she said that, like, some things were a little bit unclear. She only read like the first episode, and she was like, these are some things you need to fix. Because of that, I kind of realized that maybe there are some things that aren't really working with my story, and so I continued to not do anything with it until some events in my life happened later that year. What are we, like, 2023? No, it must be 2022. Wait. Anyway, some events happened later that year that kind of drove me to reconsider the storyline and the characters, and I rewrote the script and I decided to redo the whole story. Not like redo everything, but like kind of repurpose what I could from the old version, but introduce a lot of new elements. It took a long time for me to prepare and get started. I think I did the script rewrite in the fall of 2022. And then I didn't start really working on redoing the thumbnails or really like working on the webtoon until around the end of 2023. And now it is 2024, as you may have noticed. We are already halfway through the year. Oh my God, the passage of time, right? So I decided to haul ass and try to build another 10 episode buffer. And I am proud to say that I finished the 10th episode yesterday of my webtoon. Yay! Which is perfect because it is right on schedule, and I am going to launch the webtoon on July 17th. If this video is ready on time, like if I am good, then I will be able to release this video at the same day or maybe a little bit later so that I can use this video to promote the webtoon as well. Another reason why I am making this video is I want to show you like the process of everything that I've done up until this point. We're gonna be going on this journey together of like me uploading my first couple episodes and just like seeing how it goes, seeing if we can grow this webtoon, if it can reach its audience. Personally, I don't really think that I need a big audience. I don't need a ton of fans. I just need the people who will like this story to read my story. It's hard for me to pin down a genre for my story, but I would say because it focuses on the relationship between, you know, the two main leads. Probably the first thing people would categorize it as is like a romance, maybe like a drama. I'm really interested in like kind of exploring these characters and their character development and their growth. And that's kind of what I want to go through with this story. It's not really an action story. It's not really like a genre story. I mean, I guess you could call it a supernatural story, but that's kind of the story that I'm writing. And that's the kind of audience that I want to market to. I'll get into a little bit more of what the story is about as we are preparing, but I'm just giving this brief but actually very long introduction just to let you guys know like what's going on, where we're at. Yeah. Right, so let me show you the things that I have made so far. So the first run of my webtoon is here she is, and it's called first run because this is all the materials for like the first time that I tried to work on it. These are the scripts for all the episodes that I have written. See, this is the old episodes. That should actually be in the first run folder, but I think I put it in here because I wanted to be able to refer to it. So we have the prologue to episode 22. That's how far I've actually written. I feel like I shouldn't be spoiling these episode titles for you, but oh well. Fun fact, when I was a high school student, we got like new computers and we couldn't afford Microsoft Word. So when I was a high schooler, I never used Microsoft Word for any of my assignments. I just used Google Docs. And this was before people used Google Docs for everything. I just giving you some context. I'm very old. Anyway, the first episode should be out, so it should be okay to show you this. This is the way that I write my scripts, and they are all color-coded for each character. It doesn't look like a traditional script. Usually traditional comic scripts look like traditional movie scripts, but I just write it how I write it. Actually, if you guys want to see really what's up, I write my scripts. I write them by hand, and I write them in like a notebook because it's really hard to get like the creative process, like the writing process going. Like on a computer, it's a little bit daunting. So I just scribble things down and then like, oh, if I don't like it, fuck it, I'll just scribble, just cross it out. And I change colors every time I change the day. I have like the date. So like, you know, I wrote this in September 22nd of 2022. And then the next day, 22nd. I wrote this on September 12th. On 2022. When I wrote it in the 14th, I changed the color so you can have a good sense of how much you've written on one day. I wrote a lot. Look at that. Heyo. If I finished writing it in like my notebook, I would rewrite it. I would transfer it into like a document. And that's when I would add all the fancy colors and stuff like that. And the benefit of that is that you have an instant second draft. As I'm rewriting it, I'm editing all of the, you know, the dialogue and all of the things that I might want to change. So in that way, I'm editing it without even like really editing it. I mean, I am editing it, but like it feels a little bit less intimidating. The next thing I did was these massive thumbnails. So I would read the script and then I would go in and I would make thumbnails. These thumbnails, like, this is an exceptionally long chapter because it's the first chapter, but most chapters that are in the back half of the story are like about half this length. But since the first episode, it's introducing a lot of things, it has to be pretty long. I got this template from Walter Osley. Walter? That's his name, right? I'll put it here on the screen. I am suddenly blanking on it. Anyway, he has a lot of tutorials on how to make webtoons, and he has this file that you can use for making your thumbnails. After the initial thumbnail sketches were done, I had to, of course, draw the episode. So this took several steps. Something I need people to understand whenever they're asking me, like, when are you gonna release your webtoon? Why is it taking so long to draw your webtoon? Okay, so let me break this down for you. There are many steps in making a webtoon, right? What you just saw was the script writing process and then the thumbnailing process. Those are obviously the most difficult because that's the writing. This is the meat of your story. You know, art is just a pretty bow on top of a hopefully good story. Most stories cannot be carried by having good art. It can carry you pretty far, as I've seen in some webtoons that have gorgeous art, but are very, very bad or very boring. Ultimately, like, you have to make sure that the story is good, the script is good. And so I like to write a lot of episodes of the script so that I can have a good sense of like what is happening, the foreshadowing works before I start drawing, right? Just so you can get a sense of what is going to happen. To give you a sense of how, oh, my camera is shaking. Stop shaking, oh no. Okay. Okay, that's on camera. To give you a sense of how long it takes to work on a webtoon, to make just one episode, let's take a look at my handy dandy spreadsheet. Okay, so this is very important and probably a little bit boring, but I made a spreadsheet for the schedule for my webtoon. And as we look here, the steps are script, thumbnails, and then for one episode you have to do the sketch, the inks, the color, and the letters. These are all of the steps that it takes to make a webtoon. So how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to do 6 steps depending on what your art style is. Some stages might take longer than others, right? But let's see here, the script and thumbnails, like I said, I like to get them all done ahead of time. This is about how long the first arc of the story is. So I wanted to have the first arc done before I really jumped into drawing. And even though this was all done, I still continue to do rewrites throughout the story. Let's look at episode 1. So the scripts and thumbnails are done, and those take a couple months to get done, I guess, because I'm also working, right? Simply the sketch, inks, color, and letters. This process takes about 2 weeks, which is why my update schedule is every 2 weeks, because that's how long it takes to do this while working a part-time job. All right, so you might be thinking, oh, Mandy, you're done, right? You drew 10 episodes and now you could just post them on Webtoon. Well, you're half right. There are still a couple more things I need to do, which is why I'm making this video. I have a little handy dandy list right here that you can't read, but I'm gonna read it to you. So there are still things to do, and I'm not even sure if these are all the things that I need to do, but these are the things I could think of that I have to do before I launch. So first, I need to make a square thumbnail for my webtoon. It has to be within the dimensions and it has to be eye-catching. Thumbnail is really important because it is the first thing that new readers are going to see. If the thumbnail isn't good, then readers are not going to click on your webtoon. So pressure's on for that one. I also need to make a vertical thumbnail. So step 2, sort of, I'm not doing these in order, but I need to make a vertical thumbnail, which also needs to be eye-catching because it might also be the first thing that readers will see. Next, I have to write the webtoon blurb, which I have already kind of written. Do you guys know what a blurb is? Blurb, the little paragraph that like explains what's happening in your story. I don't know what else called the description of my webtoon. In books, we call it a blurb. Anyway, I have to write that. I have something prepared, but I have to refine that and make sure that it's ready to put on the website. Also, I need to make thumbnails for all 10 episodes because I want to have all 10 episodes scheduled before I launch so that I can have a little bit of that weight off of my chest, even though I'm going to be obsessing over every single episode every time it gets released for the rest of the year. After that, to reformat the episodes. Next, I have to put the reformatted JPEG files of my webtoon into like the webtoon splitting program, or I have to split the episodes so that they can be the correct size to upload, and then I have to put them into the website, and then I have to schedule them. I also have to make ending cards, which are basically like the little notes at the end of every episode that remind you to, you know, like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, leave a comment. I have to make those for each episode. Ordinarily, authors will put the same thing at the bottom of every single one, but in the first run of my webtoon, I had them a little bit customized. They were a little bit different for everyone, or I had 3 that I would reuse for each episode, and one of them was changing every single time. One of them was my male lead character, Westy. He would be saying some kind of silly pickup line at the end every time he appeared in the end card, and I kind of like that, so I want to keep that going as well. Lastly on my list is I have to make some promo like images, so basically like an illustration that also contains the text of the blurb that I can put on Instagram and I can put on all of my social medias to help promote the comic. So those are all the things that I can think of that I have to do. There might be more as I start doing this, but we're gonna find out. That's why we're in this video together. I've already gotten started on the little episode thumbnails. So I've got, you know, up to episode 3 going on here, which is good because I probably am only gonna post the prologue in the first 2 episodes. All right, I think I'm gonna do a little bit more for the, stop shaking. I think I'm gonna make a few more episode thumbnails, and then I'm gonna go to bed because I have to work. I have to get up pretty early tomorrow to go to work, so. All right, well, I made the thumbnails for all 10 episodes, and it is, what time is it? Almost 3 a.m. Okay, good luck to me. Good luck to future Mandy tomorrow. R.I.P. I'll see you guys in the next time that I film this. Bye. Hello everyone, this is Mandy from the future. This is editing Mandy from a different angle in my apartment because my apartment is very messy. And you might notice that there is no sound of the fish tank because I turned the filter off so that you didn't have to hear the fish tank sound. But my fish are very uncomfortable right now, so I have to film this very quickly. What you just saw was part 1 of this Webtoon uploading vlog. The entire footage looked like it was going to be taking a little bit too long, so I'm going to separate it into 2 videos. I hope you guys enjoyed the first video of just me talking and explaining everything that's going on. In the next video, you guys are going to see the vlog of pretty much me throughout the week trying to get everything done. You're gonna see me being very tired, trying to fit in all of this work in between my busy schedule that is my life, social life and work. So look forward to that. Thank you all for sticking around. I hope that you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoyed my webtoon, which I hope that you will read, and I'll see you in the next one.